Hey everyone, Zak Wolf. I'm still here going through that whole coronavirus, quarantine, lockdown, social distancing, and all that. So I came up with another little throwback Thursday vlog of sorts. But not much to do. I recently pulled out my old Apple PowerMac G4 QuickSilver tower from 2001. It still works pretty well. That's because Macs are usually built to last. Let me boot it up for you. See, I got it booted up into Mac OS 9. To be specific, OS 9.2.2. The last classic Mac OS release. So much that Steve Jobs even held a mock funeral for it in early 2002, dropping support officially for the classic Mac OS in favor of OS 10. Yeah, it is a neat throwback. It takes you back to a public school when we were using this type of operating system. In fact, I can play some of those old games on the Mac OS 9 as well. Because a lot of those games from my childhood won't work on Mac OS 10. Let's see now. I've got to change the... First I got to change to 256 colors in order to run some of those old games. Alright. Oh, this is a little... You can't right-click on Mac OS 9 either. Well, if you're using a double-button mouse, you can't really. If you want to right-click, you got to hold down the control key and then click the mouse at the same time. That's how it was with a lot of those old single-button mice. Until around 2006 or 2007, when Apple started making dual-button mice. With what they originally called their Mighty Mouse. No relation to the Terry Toons character. Alright, let's see. Here we go. Applications. Here we go. KidWorks 2. Which I featured in a couple of older videos. Yeah, this is the funny one. I remember, I always liked that bit where you could have it read where you could have the voice read everything. Like this, for instance.
Dear Arthur, now I am going to give you some instructions. If your mom says don't do it, do not play games on the computer. Sincerely, Crystal.
Yeah, that was from the work of us kids for Arthur the Wrecker, where the kids show how they could create things on the computer. As part of it, they just read it out loud themselves instead of letting the computer did it. I guess they thought it would have been more appropriate. And of course
Are you sure you want to quit?
Goodbye.
Goodbye, KidWorks. Oh, and that's not all. Oh. This old game, which is for my most viewed Let's Play, can work on it on the Mac OS 9 as well. Let me get it ready. Okay, there. I had to do a hard reboot in order to get the aspect ratio fixed, so you can see this somewhat clearly. Okay. For this, I'll just skip to a page I have some amusing bits. There we go. That looks good there, doesn't it?
The city was very busy. I held Mom's hand so she wouldn't be scared.
Do you want to push the button so the light will turn green, little critter?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. But nowadays that button would change an actual walk signal.
And that racket will
Ironically,
I do! Can you not?
A stereotypical surfer.
I can't sleep, you know.
Dead, of course.
Oh, shucks. Y'all a bunch of party poopers.
Okay, I guess that's enough of showing this game.
Are you sure you want to? Hope you had fun in the city with me and my mom. Bye.
Alright, now I'll reset the aspect ratio to its normal size. There we go. Now back to millions of colors. Yeah, it is a little more tricky than doing it on Mac OS X. Oh, look at this! iTunes works with Mac OS 9 as well. I.e. the early version. It's like iTunes 2.
She was fucking real good, driving everybody crazy in the whole wood hood. She's rapping, she's rapping, she's rapping.
I should incorporate this song into the theme for Mac or Ad for the Wingo in 2021. I can even edit video on an old PowerMac G4 on Mac OS 9, no less. As part of this vlog, I shot a quick video with this Canon Optora 60 mini DV camcorder. And I captured and edited it via FireWire into the PowerMac. As back in those days, Apple sure liked to tote the digital video capabilities in those Macs, coming with FireWire ports and having iMovie preloaded onto them, and DVD-ROM drives in several models. Back in 2001, a couple of the Power Macs, like mine, would come with a DVD burner, which they called the Super Drive. Not like today, where it's Thunderbolt and USB-C, and sharing and streaming movies online. But iMovie's still there, albeit in a new and improved version. Here's the finished mini DV footage as edited on the PowerMac G4, edited on a version of Final Cut Pro from 20 years ago. Now here's the mini DV footage I shot just for this. Yeah, I'm shooting this on a camcorder that was made in the mid-2000s and editing it on video editing software from 2000, a video that I'm recording in 2020. Can you beat that? Of course, back when Final Cut Pro was made originally, mini DV was the highest quality home video format. For consumer home movies, that is, like the one I'm shooting. It was definitely superior to the older analog formats, and even in the late 2000s, mini DV was still superior to those hard drive or memory card camcorders at the time that really compressed the footage. Even especially HDV, which was the high definition version of mini DV. Not so today, where mini DV is now obsolete and today's flash memory camcorders shoot much higher quality video, like the one I normally use and I did the rest of this vlog on. Another neat thing about Final Cut Pro 1 back then was how it had a lot of neat features that were unheard of at the time for a Mac. Outside of the old Adobe Premiere, even had some simple video filters you could apply. A lot of them kind of unnecessary, but some were useful in correcting the image, like color correction and brightness and contrast and stuff like that, compared to all the different wild effects you can use in Final Cut Pro 10. Oh, and the original Final Cut did have a chroma key effect as well, but it wasn't as good as the ones in Final Cut Pro 10 or Premiere Pro. Especially since mini DV isn't that ideal of a format for green screen stuff. It's not like when I did that remake of the Scooby-Doo phony mirror scene, because by then chroma key was better to use with the modern video formats and better software to do it. Looks pretty good, huh? Of course, nowadays we have fancy AVCHD camcorders that can shoot even better high-definition quality video into flash memory, which makes importing a whole lot easier. As I will admit, with the older DV footage, you had to capture it in real time as if you were playing it back, and that could eat up some time in the process. Plus, as I already mentioned, it required using FireWire, which virtually all Macs had back then, but not many PCs did. Though with the latter, you could add a PCI FireWire card into the PC towers. Nowadays, there aren't any computers on the market with FireWire, but with current Macs, you could just add a FireWire to Thunderbolt adapter. But I shoot most of my stuff on the Canon Vixia HFR 600 AVCHD camcorder anyways, since the quality is so much better. As I already mentioned. Also, I already mentioned that iMovie often came bundled on FireWire-enabled Macs back then, and the older versions could also work on Mac OS 9, like iMovie 2, even if you could only work in the 4:3 aspect ratio. iMovie didn't support that until iMovie HD came out in 2005, and the current iMovie only works up to 16:9 aspect ratio. But for vlogs like these, I don't mind. And in addition to Mac OS 9, my PowerMac G4 can also do boot to Mac OS 10, specifically version 10.4, known as Tiger. Okay, let's dual boot this baby to Mac OS 10 now. There we go. There we go. It does seem to boot up a little more quickly than Mac OS 9 did. I think this takes around the same time to boot up now as my quad-core Mac Mini here does. With the solid-state drive installed, of course. Well, this uses a 7200 RPM hard drive. Look at this here. The Aqua interface. Yeah, this is Mac OS 10.4.11 Tiger. Right up there, see? The Finder. I kind of miss that old Finder interface. Well, maybe a little. But I do miss the dashboard feature that was included on the Mac OS from Tiger up to 10.14 Mojave. Besides Final Cut Pro and iMovie, another video editing application I could use on the old PowerMac is Adobe Premiere, the older pre-Pro versions on this machine, and I'm specifically using Adobe Premiere 6.5 for 2002, which is the version I worked with at my high school. It does look pretty different from the more modern Premiere Pro versions. It works in a few different ways, but it still works well and is a fun throwback. When it was rewritten and became Adobe Premiere Pro in 2003, it would only work on Windows XP. Windows XP. But because it was doing so well there, Apple and Adobe then made a Mac-compatible version of Premiere Pro in 2007, and it's stayed that way since. Well, of course, it can only run on Macs with Intel processors, like the quad-core i7 Mac Mini I use on my main desktop. Though for consumers and video enthusiasts, starting in 2004, Adobe started making Premiere Elements, which could actually do like close to 2/3 of what Premiere Pro could do at the time, complete with 99 video and audio tracks, which was a rarity for consumer video editing applications back then, compared to today, where many video editing programs aimed at consumers often have 100 video and audio tracks or greater, with a few exceptions like iMovie, of course, but that's because it's free for Mac users, and Premiere Elements was originally Windows only, but then in 2009, a Mac-compatible version came out. And today it's still a good option for Mac users who want to go beyond iMovie, but aren't ready to shell out the cash for Final Cut Pro or Premiere Pro, even though it can't burn DVDs anymore. But same with NCH Video Pad, which is also cross-platform, and the Mac version even works with Windows formats like AVI and WMV, which I find useful, as I still have some videos from those kinds of formats from before I switched to a Mac in 2009. But I guess that's enough for now. Yeah, this coronavirus thing is really getting out of hand. Here in Massachusetts, the public schools are now closed for the remainder of the school year, and I have heard that kids are actually upset about that. Not just because they can't actually go to school and be with their classmates and such, but the high school seniors get no prom, no graduation ceremony. Well, at least I graduated high school almost 14 years ago. And a couple months ago, I also got my computer information user support associate's degree in the mail. Yeah. Since I completed all the credits I needed to graduate. Yep, I completed them all in the last fall semester. I really lucked out there. Now I hope to soon get a decent IT-related job, especially since I've applied to so many by now I'm losing track. But besides that, as always, stay tuned to this YouTube channel. I will soon have 25,000 subscribers, and I already have planned something special for the occasion.